process of making a decision whether to go back, and he says it's a very closed circle, but how do you advise young guys like that, or who do you talk to give feedback?
A lot of times it's with either family members or close advisors, and then the coaching staff for their team back in college.
Is it different this year given the new process? They're able to get out a little bit earlier?
It's been the last couple of years they've been able to do this, but this year it seems like more are testing the waters, just because I think having the combine before the pullout date really helps these guys get a better read on their chances, and so I think more underclassmen are taking advantage of that, and I think it's definitely if they're in the mix at all for the next couple of years, I think it's good for them to kind of get a judge on where they are in the process, and there's no better feedback than the professionals on our side that can really help them at least get an idea of what they need to work on and how close they are. And sometimes guys come out and they surprise teams and they end up being more ready than what they might have thought.
And how upfront would you guys be would the Raptors organization be with a guy like that who's right on the bubble, might go back to school, might not? Like, would you tell him one way or the other?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I've had a couple tough conversations already on that, and it's just a matter of a lot of times they're not looking for any sort of false indications of where they're at. Like they would like to have as honest of feedback as they can, because these are tough career choices, and a lot of times they're not in a position where they need to leave, but they just kind of want to know, is it in their best interest, from a playing standpoint. And a lot of times, it's unless there's some personal issues or whatever going on to where they have to really strongly consider leaving earlier than they should, most times the feedback helps them. The honest feedback helps them take that back to school and really work on things this summer and put them in a better position next year.
How much does it help them, just if they do decide to go back, just going through the experience of knowing what a workout is like, what's going to be asked, the trial?
A lot. I think this first year of doing it helps guys kind of prepare better next year. And even of the ones that got invited to the combine the first year, they get to go through all the interviews and they see what the drills are like, and then they can help prepare themselves with that in mind next year and put themselves in a much better, at least just comfort zone going through it next year.
And for you guys to chart, in some situations, chart the maturity or changes from year to year, is that something that you...
Absolutely. I mean, we try to bring in a few guys that interest us in terms of, kind of seeing where they're at, set a baseline for what they're at now, and then watch them next year kind of with that in mind. And then when we bring them in next year, if they go through the process again, we'll have a much better idea of kind of the trajectory they're on development-wise, and kind of see how their growth goes.
And then when you're giving feedback, it's from your perspective where you're drafting. It's not like league-wide.
I always tell them that, where other teams might be telling them something different, but where we're at, we don't have a second-round pick. We're looking based on our situation. This is how we feel about it, and if we had a bigger cupboard of picks, maybe it would be something different. But right now, this is our stance on your situation, and kind of take that back, and then take the feedback from other teams and talk to your group and kind of make a decision from there.
Sorry, do you give that directly to the kid, or is that usually you said to the coach?
Yeah, usually usually there's someone close that's advising them that I was working with to help set the workout up. Sometimes it's a coach, sometimes it's a family friend, or how it goes, stuff, or even a parent. And so it's usually them that then relay to the player, and they sit down and they'll really think about it, and then I'll talk to the coach as well, and then just to kind of make sure there's nothing lost in translation from our standpoint.
Overall, you're satisfied with how the workouts have gone? Have you gotten the information that you thought you were looking for coming in?
Oh yeah, I think they've gone great so far. We're only very early in the process, but they've been really competitive, and I think the players have really put themselves in a position to play well for us. So I think that I've been really impressed with the preparation that these kids are putting in this year. There's not as many guys coming in who, I hate to say out of shape, but just not in the proper shape that sometimes in the past kids, they don't know what to expect, and they've spent the last month kind of from the time their season ended to now, like not really doing the proper work to stay ready for something like this. Whereas this year, we've been really impressed with the type of shape the kids have come in and really been, ready for putting on a show as prospects.
Dan, 3 Canadians in here today. I know you guys are looking for talent regardless, but does that mean anything to the organization, the number of Canadians you've had in the last week?
Yeah, not doing it on purpose. Honestly, it's a sign of what basketball is becoming up here. I think that it's just an indication that so many good NCAA players, happen to be from the area, and it's really just a matter of it kind of worked out the way it did, and a few of them, for whatever reasons, matchups, worked out well, and yeah, it's been pretty impressive, I think, in even the last couple of years, the increasing numbers, and I only see it getting more and more.
I mean, specifically regarding Justin, what did you think of him?
He's a player that's very intriguing because he's got so many things going for him in terms of size and positional size and just athletic ability and God-given intangibles that you don't find on a lot of people. And so with all that, he's got some work to do and skill-wise, but that's kind of what we're here to do, is evaluate to see like how far along is he, like how much work, what kind of development stuff can or I should say what levels he can reach with the proper development work from there. And so it's a good early look at him, and he's very talented, and he's going to be an intriguing player to watch. If he ends up going back, the next year, he's going to be a highly scouted player in college basketball for sure. But if he stays in too, he's a guy that's going to be discussed in our room for sure.